This call is now being recorded. This call is now taking notes.
Hey everyone. Okay, so it's been a while. It's been a very long while actually. We haven't done video in a while, so we are back at it. We're going to be doing a couple of videos. We still maintain the traction around security, all things security, basically. More on AppSec, product security, DevSecOps, some DevOps, but also we'll be scaling into a lot of AI security topics. And what we're going to be showcasing today is actually AI security. Um, we would have a couple of these videos planned. Runcanon is what you get today. And in case you're wondering what Runcanon is, again, you'll find out on the call. The link to this report will be in the description because I decided to open source Runcanon. We do have a couple of companies that are deploying this internally and using this, but this is open. Please feel free to pull these, contribute to the project. We want to see your PRs coming in. I think there's one already actually hanging. Also, I'm hoping that we can expand the concepts beyond what it is today to what it can be, that mature platform for skills or an open source skill management platform. Beyond just having a central repository for all skills, there's a lot more around relevance. We know that skills today are no longer relevant today in the context of an LLM, tomorrow, sorry, in the context of an LLM, because it is heavily or highly dynamic. It changes super fast. And one biggest challenge is the fact that an LLM assumes a skill today, it uses that to carry out a task. And in the process, maybe there's some misfire where the skill did not really achieve the goal. There are no effective way to measure that in today's context or today's world, where you can now adjust the skill based on that data to improve its accuracy the next time it is assumed or invoked. And that was what what I thought about when I started thinking about these. Then I saw a paper which actually helped, gave me perspective. I'm going to share that paper as well, link in the description. Kudos to the authors of that paper, really great work. So getting into this, what is Runcanon at the heart of it? I'm going to skip all this stuff for you guys to read. Again, the inspiration. Runcanon design is a direct response to the paper Automating Skills, the energy generation for computer using agents via interaction trajectory mining. And beautiful work done by the folks who actually published this paper. It mines raw GUI trajectories into clustered skills and tries to train an autonomous policy on top of them. There are quite a number of caveats, pitfalls, which was pointed in the paper. It clusters readable on the source bench, but excuse me, that readability never translates into a working policy, which was also something that I saw while I was consuming the paper. Runcanon takes the opposite bet on the same question. We mine other tools and prompt sequence instead of raw clicks. So we focused on whenever the LLM invokes the skill, we want to be able to track how the skill's efficiency is in terms of the goal that the skill has set. If it achieved the goal at the end of the delivery, great. We want to strengthen that skill. If it did not, then we want to take that back to the workbench and try to update the skill so it stays not just relevant, but also it has the context that it needs to actually achieve the goal that is set for that skill. It's not something that I see a lot in today's space, hence the concept is we're trying to experiment with that idea here with Runcanon. It does have the full skill management platform where, as an org, you can actually bring in skills and securely manage them on your platform, but also share them to your engineers that needs them, or even other team members that need them at your org. I'm going to show that on the platform on the admin dashboard when I log into it. Now, for Runcanon to work, it means harnesses needs to invoke the skill, or the LLM needs to be able to assume that skill to carry out a task, and that's just the idea behind this. The layout itself, there is a dashboard and an API. There is a CLI. Then we have an MCP as well. I'm going to try and show that this is available, and you can also leverage that if you are into that kind of stuff. Now, excuse me, to drink some water here. I'm not going to go into the installation for now because we'll do that in the demo. Before we delve into the phase one aspect of the demo, which is basically logging in on the UI and showing us what that looks like as an admin, then configuring LLM provider, which is also required, right? Because Runcanon needs the LLM to be able to adjust the weights of the skill as it's learning each time the skill is invoked and used. I'm going to show what that looks like. We will log in. I'll go over to the admin. I'm going to sign out for now. So this is running local on Docker. By the way, you can either install this on the server or have it running on Docker as well. It's already built and shipped as part of what's in the code. So I will log in as the admin. If I remember the admin password, give me a second. It's there in the repo. I think once you log in your first time, is going to force you to reset the password. So keep that in mind. I already have this password stored in the Docker volume, so it's pretty much able to fetch that and solve that for me. So once you log in, this is what you see. Getting started pretty easy. How to get started as a user of this platform, how to set up the CLI, how to log in the CLI so it connects to the platform, then the harnesses that you want to work with, how to configure them, then how to mine, then also how to export reports, and a lot more that fun stuff. Again, the package is available right here. You can find them on the repo as well to play with. At the overview, I am logging as an admin, so I can see a lot more. You can see platform admin, right? That's me right there. By the way, we have system mode, dark skin. You can play with that stuff, but I'm going to work with the light today for the demo. There's also notification each time an operation is run. We want to track that as well. You can see a bunch of queue notification here as well. At the overview, this is what you're going to get. Active skills. As an org admin, you want to see all the skills you have. So active skills, pending proposal. A proposal is generated, which you're going to touch in during the demo when you mine. If you mine, then you find drift or changes, then a drafted proposal, which you can then apply. That becomes the next version of that skill, meaning it's the most recent and most relevant version. And whoever is working with that skill gets a better context skill, which actually aligns with deliveries of the goals, setting it. Then trajectory, which you're going to see as well, which shows the pattern the skill is actually evolving or learning over time. Then goal alignment. Remember, skills set the goal. We want to be sure the skill is actually hitting those goals. We measure for that as well. For these days, no data because it's the admin. I'm going to log in as a user. Then we will see some data coming when we log in as a user. Okay, so that's what you get. Now for user management, being an admin, you should be able to bring in user. There is just one user here for now, and there are roles, right? So this user is just an engineer. You have creator, you have admin, then just view as well. It's pretty straightforward to add a new user. You can do that here, then give them a role, temporal password. They're forced to reset the password when they log in as that user. Now, once you add them, you find them available here, then you share the default credential with them, they log in, they're forced to reset it. You can create groups, do bulk import as well. You can see there's a security team here, and I have Blessed, who is a part of that team. I can remove him, or I can add him other members if I have other members on the platform. For bulk imports, just CSV, boom, you're good to go. That is user management. Now, that's the first thing you would do as an admin. Then you want to also set the providers. For the providers, we have a bunch of providers. We support Anthropic, OpenAI, we have XAI, Grok, then also Vertex, then also AWS Bedrock, and Olama. Beautiful stuff. So if you have Olama, you just want to use Olama, basically all you need to do is actually configure Olama. add the API key. Once you do that, you can test the configuration. In this case, I have actually done that. So you can see it's connected to Olam, and I'm serving the model DeepSeek V3 here, which is what it's going to use in the mining process for skills. Pretty cheap. I also have configured Anthropic. You can see that if I test it, okay, I need to replace the API key right there. All right, but I think the module that is currently set for mining is DeepSeek, so we're good. I don't have to. If you want to do that, you just need to select the checker active provider. Then once you save this configuration, it becomes your active provider. If you test it, it shows you that that is your active provider. Pretty neat stuff and easy. So all your users will not be able to change these because that's the default model. And we do this so you can actually manage cost as well, right? Then you can track metrics of usage here as well. It's pretty still a work in progress, but out of the box, you can see how many published skill, assigned skill, skills that have been synced, updated, adoption rates, and stuff like that, all tracked in the UI here. Now, also at the org level, you can then design your org library where you can import sets of skills either from Git. We have this baked, currently supporting Bitbucket and GitHub, but can be extended as well. And as you're importing, you can access and enrich them with LLM. So in real time, as the skills are coming in, they're already being enriched to stay aligned. We do a bunch of heuristics there, but again, that's not for this conversation. Once you bring in the skills, you would see them cataloged like this, and they are available. Now, for each of the skill, you can edit them because you can see what they look like when they came in. Very straightforward. This is a skill. We can see what it's doing there. We can see those data metrics I mentioned about, right? Because this is how we're able to verify if the skill is aligned or not aligned, if it's hitting the goal or not hitting the goal, and stuff like that. This is supposed to triage Apiro CV. Apiro is actually a security platform, and then it should triage, do the prioritization, categorization for the team that is going to be using the skill. There are a bunch of other skills like QA skills, implement skill, prototype skill. Again, the goal is at the org level, you want to manage these skills. You don't want your users to just go grab this thing anywhere. So you can archive a skill, retire a skill. You can also delete a skill if you don't want them no more. Now, there is also the promotions. Again, this creates a queue. Now, you can actually configure these to set target dates, and then the skill is promoted or depromoted. Then there's also the assignment window, which is where you can now select sets of skills. You can filter for skills. It's pretty straightforward, and you can target a user or groups. Now, your groups could be your engineering group. If you're targeting a group, then you will see the list of the group here. You can also filter for them, and you can select that group. Automatically, everybody that is in that group would get this skill pushed to them. It's erases that complexity around having skills shared to users, but also keeping the skill relevant both at the org level. Later, we'll see how the users can also keep the skill relevant from their endpoint as well. No, so you can do that per user or per group. In the demo, I'm going to showcase this as well for the target user, which we're going to be working with. Then once you do that, you can actually set a target expiration date for this skill as well. You can make it mandatory, meaning it will force a sync and they will get this skill. I will showcase how this works later. So we've covered org skill management. Then there's a governance dashboard. At the governance dashboard, we can set a few more configuration like autonomy. Autonomy is how we want Runcanon to actually suggest the changes each time it finds a change in the skill or a drift in the skill. Now we can use the user human in the loop, show me, ask me, or we just get it, do it, and show me, or just get it, take care of stuff without letting me be the bottleneck there. Again, I think I would usually recommend starting with human in the loop, then progress from there to a point where it becomes autonomous without friction. There is also this gate here, emergency stop. How many changes we want to see before we put a halt to that. There is also the settings, which is where you can set the default Runcanon config, the harnesses supported, then the mining and how the mining works, then also exports to all harnesses. LLM is configured as well. Then also the workspace. You can create multiple workspace. In this case, the workspace is currently available here. You can see the workspace that is active, which is this, and the member being a part of that workspace is this guy right here. Then you have the skills deck, pretty straightforward. You can open this up. You should be able to see the harnesses that's supported for this skill. You can see the skill cards in terms of what the skill will be doing. It's engineering, architecture, design. You can also see the skill spec, pretty straightforward. You can see most of the data here is pointing to 0 because no learning. You can retire the skill quickly from here as well. This is just the skill deck. You can filter. Currently, we've got these filters. You can also filter by harness. You can also filter by tag. There are a bunch of tags available here to filter by as well. So all fully functional, fully operational. You can as well change these to like a list view where you can also still view the same approach, or you have the card view available. The proposals will then be when there is a mine and there is a suggestion. You can see you run a mine, there's a suggestion, it comes under pending. If you approve or if you reject, then once you approve, it is applied. You should be able to see the before states and the after states of the skill. As you can see here, right? This is the before states. It gives you a high level summary of exactly what was done as well. All this enrichment is done by the LLM as well. So you would see the before state of the skill. Now, some of the changes that it made, you will see here. It added a few more lines around the metadata because it has learned. You can see that it has learned frequency, how many times the skill has been invoked, the success rates each time is invoked, which you can also see up here, 35%. You can see that here. Then the failure, the weaknesses of the skill as well measured, the statelessness score of that skill, then also the importance score of the skill. These data can help us then suggest where an improvement needs to come in. So you can then see those improvements coming in here, all applied. And the next time the skill is invoked, it uses this recent context, which expects to get a more accurate result. Now you get the idea behind what we're doing, right? So at the start, it's vanilla, but as it's invoked, you mine, it learns, then it gives you the new suggestion, which automatically can just be fetched and used. It also gives you a view of the trajectory, which shows you how that learning is going, right? You can see little nice charts there. You can also see episode table as well, where the learning is going back and forth. Pretty dope stuff, I believe, to an extent. Okay. Yeah, so now that we've seen the full admin UI and what is supported, let's bring in a user and log in as a user so we can see what the user would see. I'll bring in an incognito browser tab over here. Then I'm going to log in as so I'm logging in as the user. This is the user. So you can see right there the user's workspace. Now there's workspace isolation. So the user is a part of a workspace. Within that workspace, they have their own environment. So whatever the user is doing here will not interfere with anything other users are doing, because we want the admin to be able to manage at that team level, group level, but the users should have flexibility to also use their skills as they wish, because the learning is really happening at the user's end, right? Not at the admin end. The user is executing the skill and their harness, which I'm going to show you, and they are mining the skills also. So we expect that the learning happens at the local user environment. Then that should be exported to the user's dashboard, where they can as well see over time this user has done some work. So you can see over time some of the learning rates, goal alignment as well, and you can also see a bit more graphic view here in terms of how that is working, trajectories that have been created as well. I'm going to dive into all of this, then also recent proposals that have been made. So let's get back into the demo. Now we've signed in as an admin. We've configured the LLM. We are good to go on that front. We've created an account, which is the engineer account, which you've seen. We're good on that front. Then we also have created a group security team. I showed you that group. We'll go back here, group. there is the security team, and the member in this team is actually blessed, which is the user you saw over there. So we've covered that part. Now the admin CLI login is pretty straightforward. As an admin, all you need to do is you can follow the instruction here, guide. You should download Runcanon. I'll grab this, and this is my shell here. Give me a second. Okay, just checking something. All right, great. So I'm going to bring in another one here. Okay. Um, and we will log in as the admin here. So the user will be able to log in on this other front here, just to make it easy. So this is out of the box blank. I will see into my downloads or documents. Okay. Then I'm gonna mkdir admin tests, and I'm going to cd into. Okay, great. So we can work from here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to download this. Pretty straightforward. I just downloaded Runcanon, and we can see it gives us how to log in, which is going to be the next step, which we're going to follow. So if I go over here, downloaded. On Windows, the command is different. You can verify the checksum share. Then we're going to log in as admin here. So I'll do this, and it's requesting for the admin password. Like I mentioned, the admin password can be copied and pasted there, or you can type it in there. I'm just going to copy and paste it to make it easy for me. Um, so I'll paste this right here. Okay, so I have signed in as an admin. So it means the authorization for Runcanon. So if I do run canon help, I should see commands that I can execute, right? So the first one I want to do is initialize the directory I'm in, because that's where my code lives, right? This should be executed from where your code lives. So I'm going to do run canon needs, and that should initialize the directory. For me, it's going to create a couple of files, like the runcanon config, the .runcanon, which is going to have data, then also the registry, which is the skill index. That's where it's using for the trajectory when you run trajectory. So you can also see trajectory, it's created there. We can track MCP telemetry or JSON export as well in real time. So once that is done as an admin, you are set up, you're good to go. Now you can run a mine on target trajectory. Just for demo purpose, if I do run canon here, then I do mine. I can do mine, but I can also do the mine and point to a source. So if I do a mine, for example, it's telling me no agent session JSON for mining, means no, basically no code, no skill in this directory. And like I said, the directory is pretty empty. So if I had something in there, which I'm going to showcase on the other user, you will see what it looks like. So I'll put this in the background. Then we go back to the user. Now we're logged in as an admin. We just showcased that we have our admin setup. We can also do the who am I, and we should be able to show. I think it's a part of the command. We have MCP, we have goals, we have who am I. So if I do run canon who am I, it shows me I'm the admin user. I'm connected to this server. That's pretty straightforward right there. So you can track who is actually logged in that session you have over there. Okay, so now at the engineer space, we're going to repeat the same thing. So I'll go to the engineer's own window. I'm sorry, there's a bunch of windows moving around here. So as the engineer, the guide, still the same thing. I will download and install the latest version. I'm going to clear the screen. Oh, my bad. A second. Okay, this is going to go back again. So I'm going to clear the screen, and I'm going to curl install. Then I'm going to authenticate as the user. And I should be good. If I do run canon, who am I? It should be the user. So specifically this shell is for the user. This other shell is for the admin. Again, we want to keep things clean and separate right there. So now as the user, I am logged in. I can also do, let me see, I've got some projects in here. Dope. That would be a good example to explain it. I can do a run canon init in this directory. It creates the relevant files as mentioned earlier. You can see now it's initializing Runcanon at these project roots, meaning everything in that project, if I have some existing skills that Claude Code is using or stuff, everything sits in there. And the beautiful part is you can also use Runcanon to start Claude. I'm not going to touch on that for the session, but please, you can check out the code source. You will find a lot of that also documented clearly. Okay, so we have the setup as the user, and I can then do a run canon mine here. It depends on how many files, how many skills are available. It might take a while. So you can see it's collected 7 trajectory files, 8 skills, 0 reference doc. Now, workflow windows, 30 mined, the reference event 0 context only. Then it's mining. Now it's mining and it's going to be communicating with the server that you're authenticated with. This is going to take a while, so I'll leave this running. We'll keep an eye on the windows or user windows. Currently, if we go to the overview, we can see they have 7 skills, pending proposals, trajectories, goals, and stuff like that. If we go down to the user skill, you can see available skills they have today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The 7 of them. Keep an eye on that. Then proposals, we don't have anything yet, but we're actually mining. Hopefully, when we're done mining, we should see something coming. Trajectory as well. This is in real time. This mining that is happening is being tracked here in real time. So the user can actually track the mine. Sometimes you see a downward throw here. That talks a lot about deprecation of that skill also. It's something I didn't really cover earlier. So the mining is ongoing. Keep an eye on this dashboard as well, just to keep track of things. The user also has governance where they can set autonomy for themselves. Now, this overrides the admin's autonomy because the user wants to work how they feel is comfortable for them to work. Then also they have a settings, but they are not able to set LLM because that is done at the admin level. The only thing they can do here, they're not able to set the workspace as well because they're added to the group. They can only configure harness that they want or they don't want. That is all they can do. They can run mine as well as a user. So now that we see what the user environment looks like, we would switch back to the demo while the mine is running. We set up the user. We would do some CLI run flow. Later, when the mine is done, we'll cover this. But for now, there is a part of the demo I'm going to show, which is an admin sharing or like making a skill available for a user. So let's go over to org library. We see our skills available, assignments. So let's pick up a skill here. Let's say we want to assign production readiness review skill to user blessed. So I'll select a user. You can down to group as well. We'll pick the target user blessed. Then we'll make it mandatory, which means enforced on sync. We can set expiry dates, but we're not going to do that. We can set the project scope, but we're not going to do that also. I will assign this skill. Now, this skill has been assigned and it's made mandatory. If I go over to user blessed and refresh my page, as you see, I now have 8 skills. There is production readiness skill. This skill was pushed by the admin to me. Keep in mind, I cannot just get a skill that I want. That's the goal here. The user should not be able to just get a skill. The admin should be able to then review the skill. If the skill is good, make it available for the user, and it comes blank except just importance and generated dates. So once the user starts using this skill, the data should start populating because again, each time the user run a mine, it learns and updates the relevance of the skill, then that becomes something you want to track, like frequency of the skill usage, success rate, failure rate, weakness scores, and also statelessness score. Those good data that can help Runcanon now suggest the improvement for that skill to stay more aligned. So that is one part. The user can now get skills almost like near real time once an admin. They put in a request, admin approves, gives them the skill. I'm hoping that the user should be able to put in the request from their UI here as well. That's a feature that I will leave for someone to pick up and implement, where they see a skill they want to put in a request, admin gets notified, admin can then review the skill, approve it, and push it available to all the users that needs that skill. Okay, that's one demo I wanted to show. Now we go back to our trajectory. We still see learning ongoing. Great. We go back to the demo. This is still running. It depends on how many skills you have. It might take a while. So now we're going to switch to phase 3, full command walkthrough. We've used some of these commands, so it's not going to be like new, except the ones that are going to be new, like creating new trajectory, then changing direction to that and doing some stuff. So for these, a couple of commands to keep in mind. We will be leveraging the Runcanon CLI. I think before I showcase this, I want to showcase the MCP. Whilst this is still running, so I can come back and showcase the CLI after this is done. I will need this shell for that. So I'll bring up my cursor project. Give me a second. Let me look for that. So I've got another project that I'm working on, and I'm going to also do a video for that when it's available. But for now, I've got a lot on my neck. Let's bring up this project. Great. So in this project, let's go into the MCP JSON. I'm going to comment this out. A lot of what you're seeing here pretty much still test credentials, so no worries. None of them are valid and you can't really use them. I'm going to comment this out. This is also a product that I'm testing. Then I'm going to comment this part out where Runcanon lives. Great. So if I go to cursor settings, you will see we now have Runcanon. It's pretty straightforward. Now to configure that as a user, if you go into this, you should be able to set up Runcanon MCP and point to the project directory where it is running from. In this case, it's running here. If you have multiple project directories, you can also do that. But I'm currently in the AI Strike team security app. That's why I'm running from that particular directory. So I'll go over here. Now I can see Runcanon with 14 available tools. So you can as well use your harness like Cursor or Claude Code to interact with the full capabilities available in Cursor. Now, this is where I think the beauty lies, because each time Cursor Cloud Code calls this MCP and uses this tool, automatically it should be able to list skill, get skill, request for new skill, request for approval proposal, mine for skill, export skill, set goals. Once that is done, it mines, and if it mines means it looks back at what was learned during the invocation of that skill, and it's able to use that data to actually improve the next iteration of that skill, which is why I think the beauty lies in that capability. Okay, so that's what I have for this demo. Particular MCP capability, feel free to invoke any of them when you set it up on your environment and use them. Keep in mind, how to set it up is also in the documentation, so you can actually follow that and just do the same. I'll push this down. Let's see. Great. So we are done. Now, remote mining 3 new proposals should come in from 84 events. The confidence as well is captured there. We can see this Apiro CV, 68%, audit dependency known CV, 65%, with some rationale there. Then Apiro audit core package dependency has dropped to 24%. Interesting. Okay, so if we go to our dashboard, we should see the new data, excuse me, already in. So I'm going to go to proposals. You can see all 3 of them that were mined already populating on the dashboard. Now we can open them to see the before and after, which is why I think the beauty is the last time I invoked this skill, this is what it was. And honestly, this really blew my mind actually, because it helps me keep my skills relevant. It helps me also keep my skills goal oriented and not just a bunch of dummy files available for people to use. Okay, so you can see the last invocation that the skill had. Frequency is still 5 because it has not been used, but the success rates from 0.6 went to 1. The failure rate is still 0. The weakness is still 0. The statelessness value had also improved drastically. The importance has also improved drastically. So you can see these little changes that are coming in, which is the rich source that I was actually referring to there. The validation part or the workflow part, you can now see there are some preconditions. So the next time the LLM is invoking this skill, it is context aware. The preconditions that needs to be available. Now, this learning came from the last time the skill was invoked. The LLM couldn't really get the repo URL path and a couple of smoke tests. Now we're saying, hey, repo URL or local path is accessible. MCP smoke test is installed and configured. More context coming into the LLM, hence it's aligned and knows what to do. Then workflow, we bring in a few more workflows instead of examples that we had before, right? So set up a scanner, initialize smoke tests, secret detection, action. It's just mind blowing for me because again, each time this happens, I see a huge improvement in my usage of the skills. And I think that's where the value for Runcanon actually lies. The fact that it's able to do this and make these skills stay relevant for the user. Now the user can then say, I think I'm fine with this new improved version of the skill. I'm going to approve this. Now, once the user approves that, it goes off this deck. Then we should then be able to get that run in the background for a while, then pops up here for the user. The same thing applies to this. There's some new improvements. I'm going to approve this. We can see that already comes in here. Then the same thing applies for this. And I'm going to approve this. Oh, I probably would have rejected that one. So it pops up in here so we can see it and rejected. So now we have these new aligned skills that's obviously the recent version that will be used with this. The new learning rate comes in that version. Over time improves as well. We can mine again. If I do some work locally, then I see that the skills were used. I can run a mine again. It's going to grab that recent context because each time the LLM invokes these skills locally, actually, it writes to the trajectory directory of Runcanon. Remember, we're in the directory. Either you're doing it here or you're doing it via the MCP. It writes to that trajectory directory, the learning. Then that is what is used whenever you are mining. Beautiful stuff. Okay, so now that we have that covered, I think we've seen a huge chunk of the demo already. Seed demo trajectory, we've covered this already in this particular session. We can mine targeting a project with a source and specific trajectory directory as well. I'm going to load more pages. We've seen the dashboard. We can review projects. There's also a review flag that can be used in the CLI. I'm not going to cover that. You can review the skills. You can do this offline. Then when next you're connected online, you can then actually have that connection go back to your Runcanon dashboard. Again, this is if you're doing a lot of local LLM usage, like you don't use Claude or any of the enterprise platform in this context. Now you can also export and write harness. You can see all that's pretty much available here. You can use the export flag. You can import as well, but only admin can actually do this. Is flat the admin and creator can. Normal users cannot do this. We don't want users to be able to do this using Runcanon. So you can see how to do that here with the commands. I'm not going to cover that, trying to keep the video pretty short. Then you can log out and log in again. It's just pretty straightforward. Configure your users. Now the human approval part, I think I've also showed that here, which is what you saw me picking up the pending and approved. Now, why is this happening? If you remember, go to the settings, you would see, excuse me a second, Autonomy asks me if I configure these to do it and show me later, automatically I don't have to approve the proposals that come in. It just automatically picks them up and queues them and gets that done without me in the loop. Like I recommend, always start with show me, then ask me, then migrate into more free process in that sense. Now we've also showcased the skill library. The goal alignment is also another very beautiful concept. Now, this is something that every user can do. Remember, I said the skills have goals. You set these goals. You can also change or update goals using the CLI. You can see what I'm doing here. Runcanon goal sets. I'm setting the goal automate CPU triage and vulnerability prioritization, and also audit dependencies for known severity issues. Now I can then run goal lists. It's going to show me the goal. That means if I go to my dashboard, give me a second. That is the goal that we're measuring against here. If the skills align to the goal or not. Keep in mind, we want to be sure that the skills are hitting the target of the goal. So we can set this goal, we can update this goal in real time, then we can track the skill usage against the goal. That's where you see data like this being populated for us. Okay, then intelligence, updates, and relevance. Again, these are just extra add-ons where you can mine on a trajectory, you can mine on a source. I'm not going to cover all this in detail. It's pretty straightforward for you to do here. I've left all the CLI commands in the file. I would recommend you really play with this stuff. We've covered autonomy as well. We've covered the MCP setup as well, so I'm not going to do this. I did it for Cursor. You can do it for Claude Code as well. Commands are available here. If you get stuck, have questions, please feel free to leave a comment on the video. I'll be glad to assist. Or you can just actually create PR on the project issues. I'll be glad to look into that for you as well. Now here we covered all 17 MCPs tool available, what they really are. I leave this for you to read, well documented. Load some more pages. We can use Claude. I didn't mention we can use Claude in that context. You can also see all that documented here, how you can do that. Then the admin org management already showcased this in the demo, being able to fetch new skills using from GitHub, then also making them available for people to use. Or we can actually create direct skills at the org level as well here. Admin can do that, and I already talked about this, right? So where you can create skills and define the skills, it's just a bunch of YAML stuff, and make it available for your users to request for and fetch and use. We showcased that already. Then promotions, I also had showcase promotions, moving skills from admin dashboard to the user, then also approval back and forth. I also showcase assigning skills to user. I'm not going to cover that again. Engineering, I showcase the metric pool, how that works as well. Engineer pool shared org skills. I also had showcase this. It's pretty straightforward. Runcanon list assignments. You can do that in Cloud Code with natural language. As you can see, use Runcanon list assignment, which is a tool, and describe mandatory org skill assigned to me. Now you're authenticated as a Runcanon in that session. So Claude is able to use that to check your skills, make changes, or do stuff for you. And I think that's where the beauty comes in, right? Where your harness or whatever your coding agent is can actually interact with Runcanon in real time at the CLI level. Okay, we can also do that here. Runcanon export H Cloud project. Again, that comes to skill. Then we can also audit. Architecture and role. I'm not going to cover these. Each of these being showcased in the demo already. Role boundary is also implemented, like I mentioned. User is totally isolated from every other user on the platform, even within the team itself. Then the end-to-end story, I'm not going to cover these. You can just copy these and give your LLM, and they can actually go crazy and do stuff for you. I think this is all I have to show. I'm trying to keep this video pretty short. But again, I'm open. If you've got questions, if you've got concerns, if you think there's something that is interesting to cover and you find that useful, please feel free to hop in. I need you guys to contribute to the project. Like I mentioned, the project is fully available. It's live. You can clone the project. You can again tune it to what you want it to be. This is open. Like I'm not going to license this. I'm not going to be selling this one. So I recommend that we bring in the contributions and we make things work. Make things work. You can see currently a bunch of Claude agents contributing, cursor agents also contributing. Um, to make this what it is. Okay, this is where I'm going to leave the video. Once again, we're going to be doing a lot of AI stuff. This is just the first one. We have skills farm, we have loops. Again, we've done some crazy works around loop, and which will blow your mind. Just keep an eye on the videos that will be released. Maybe by next month or the upper month, we should have that full loop concept ready, where you can go grab a bite or go do something and your loops are actually shipping securely and also stable code for you. It's been tested, the results are mind blown, and it's going to be open sourced as well. So keep that in mind. Thanks for your patience and thanks for still hanging around the channel whilst we've been busy with a lot of work stuff. But we're back. We're going to be doing a lot of these videos and you're going to love the content. Once again, see you soon and have a good day. Bye.